Yes, I've been down this road before. So unexpected what life had in store for me. Like the seasons, we long for change, and every part of me was willing and game. Why should I resign? Because I'm too afraid to show what lives within my heart and just let go. Ooh, I found the unexpected love.
So I'm going to kickstart us off. I'm here with the amazing vocalist, amazing Miss Terri Green. Now, Terri, you go by two last names. So what is? So what?
Oh, you didn't dug up the dirt. I don't know what's going. So the name. So Terri Green is my family name from my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother's maiden name, and I took that when I started doing soul music because I was married to a Danish guy and my real name was Bier. I should have actually just kept that name because it would have made my life so much easier. Because I was known as Terri B. Because of the divorce, I didn't want people to know I was Terri. It was a whole thing. So as I got older and now that I'm pretty much on the other side of it, I realized I should have just kept, it was a really beautiful name. So I should have just kept it.
That's okay. You making moves with both names. How about that?
Child, you just, I don't even look back anymore and realize how much I've done. Like even when I'm with Germans right now, and I've accomplished so much in their country.
Wow.
That makes me totally strange and weird. And so to be sitting in a smooth jazz chart right now is kind of, I was in trance in 1997. Right. So I knew at trance, I didn't want to stay in trance, that I wanted to be in soul. So I kind of just didn't get the lucky opportunity like people who are living in DC. Oh, let me Deborah Bond. Deborah sung background for me. I'm like, what are you doing? You're like the queen of soul. But I cried the first time I heard a mix of me in R&B, like in 2019. Raheem's producer, Jamil Face Johnson, let me hear Caught Up. And I started crying. I was like, my sister said, we never heard you sound black.
Aww.
You know, like outside of, oh yeah, all the dance stuff. So it's been a long journey. It's 33 years of music, productions, seen a lot of stuff. It was 15 years in Russia, years in Ukraine and China and Shanghai. So I've seen a lot.
You've done a lot. I mean, what we're talking about, although the road was tough, we're talking about longevity where people don't last as long as you have. So congratulations for being calm, still being refreshing. I mean, look at you. You don't even look like you've been in the business 33 years. Like, where they do that at?
Well, let me snatch off this wig, then you'll see some other points.
Okay, let's keep it on.
We won't do that for this show. That'll be another show. No, but I think
natural beauty. Let me say
no, but I think industry keeps you young if you are not doing drugs and alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I might have a cocktail every New Year's, but I'm really a low alcohol person. I don't do drugs. So I do believe marijuana is actually quite okay drug for people to just chill out. I don't think it should be illegal, but I'm really not indulging. So I think that's also what helped because I've always been in my correct mind to collect my money, to do shows, and I didn't need anything to get amped up and to travel, So that's been helpful.
Well, congratulations with that, because that is a big thing in entertainment in general, as you see.
I have some friends in high places, and I'm like saying this can't be really a true story because I know all the stories before they come out. It's crazy what I know. And down the line, I'll see, yep, they're on drugs. It's true. And I've known it, and I just didn't want to believe it because of the level of talent and just how people are lonely. Like, it's a lonely business.
And the respect you have for them.
Yeah. And also, today, I don't know, it's a day where, and I won't get into the story of what's going on in the news, but I'll just say to you that me and Kim Porter were friends. And I remember being in LA, we had just struck up. We went to lunch at the Soho, was our last hanging out. And all she ever talked about, because they used to wear high heels all the time. And I say, you're already 6 feet tall. Y'all are making me look bad because I'm wearing flats. So can you not wear look so amazing everywhere we go. But she loved her children, and that's the only thing I want to put on out today on this podcast with all this going on. Kim always talked about her children. Every email, every call, every time. She was so worried about Quincy all the time. I was in the studio with Quincy. I had a whole thing going on, writing with him. And I haven't talked to the children since she passed.
Oh.
And I just want to say she was so loved. And I just put my arms around her kids. And I really hope that they have a support for everything that's going on.
Right. That's the best prayer that you could do. I mean, in a time like this. And we're going to leave it where it's at.
Yes.
Now, has anyone ever told you that you have a sound that's similar to Chaka Khan, powerful, soulful, and ambitious? When did you discover your mature sound?
Okay, let me go over here and laugh real quick.
Back in English?
No, I have studied Chaka since I'm born. But the thing about Chaka is that she has so many octaves. I don't have those octaves. So it wasn't until I realized how to sing and use your voice. I can sing Chaka's songs, but not, my drummer, JJ, plays for Chaka Khan. Right. Jay was with me one night doing my Gladys Knight tribute. And then he said, well, on Wednesday, I'm going to be with Chaka at the Tiny Desk. Shout out to JJ. And I went, Chaka Khan? And you playing with me? No, Chaka is phenomenal. I mean, Through the Fire, all these songs and I loved a lot of songs that weren't really the main hits of the moment, things that were a little bit obscure. Stephanie Mills, can't sing nothing in Stephanie's register, but she's one of my idols. Jody Watley, just a really diverse Sade, definitely Gladys Knight.
Definitely Gladys Knight.
Just a really, Phylis Hyman, just a really diverse. But then I love things like 10cc and, Boy George, and just really Tracy Chapman was really someplace I wanted to go with music for a moment. So I'm just a little bit all over the place, but it's because my soul, I was raised globally. My parents were military. So I always got new influences all the time.
Which is awesome. Who didn't love, Boy George was the prettiest boy I ever seen in my life.
Do you know, I didn't even know what gay was, and I swear I was a gay white man at one point. Because everything I loved for a few minutes was like Communards, Jimmy Somerville, Depeche Mode, New Order. I was at FAMU listening to that. Pledge, Delta, did all that stuff, and they were like, Terry's so strange.
Who didn't like Kama Camellia? That was my song, okay?
And I was always very sympathetic to people being what they want to be, being different. So when I realized what the struggle was for people in the LGBTQ community, I was like, oh, I've always been with you. I just didn't realize I was with you.
Right.
One of my greatest supporters is a trans woman who we've been ride or die for more than 10 years. And honestly, I didn't know for 3 years. And she said, Terry, I was a man before. I was like, girl, what? I just can't stop saying girl, so we're good. So
okay.
It's not my life. I just want her life to be good. So it just doesn't, people are so affected by what's not their issue.
Right. Facts.
I'm like,
unless you have, my daughter's LGBTQ. So you come for her, you come for me. And I'm not.
Yes. And I'm so proud when you say a daughter and you look very young, that means she really young, already has the experience that she doesn't have to hide it. Like I have family members who couldn't say what they
right.
Or cousins or brothers or whatever. So I just think it's good that we support. I know many children who have the support. And that's Sade's trans daughters now, her son, she's dedicating the whole album to her son. So I just think, like Kamala said, turn the page.
Period. Now, you spoke on something right at the top of the interview about breaking barriers low key.
Yes.
And you did that. These last few years, you're singing in R&B, whereas you sung in other languages. You have crossed many barriers like Selena did. Now, crossing over to different cultures and genres at the onset of your career, why did you choose this avenue? And do you think that support would have been stagnant in R&B if you would have started out that way?
Yes. In America, yes. In Florida A&M, yes. Everyone was so good and I was so untrained that the level was so high that they gave me, you need to go do this before you try to do this.
Oh, wow.
Wyclef Gordon, who got taken from school with me, who was mentored by by Wynton Marsalis, when he left us, he was at that level. So I understood the level. Years later, me and Wyclef were talking. He's a green-eyed guy that always talk, who plays with Wynton and Branford. And I was just like, look where you made it. He said, Terri, ain't nothing changed. We still the same. So, I just think the differences made me educated about people. And I ignore I can go around a lot of things and barriers that people have to deal with because I just don't think about all the stupidity.
Right.
Like, bad is bad in any culture, language, or color. So shout out to my Haitian brothers and sisters, and I'm sure I have family members that are probably cousins that are Haitian as well. This nonsense got to stop. And we're just lying and carrying on. And if you're with that, then I'm not with you. And it's just, we just know we can play on people's stupidity and ignorance so that you can hurt people.
Right.
And that's not what music does. Music normally brings us together.
Right.
And so being in diverse genres, going back to your question, that meant I could quench all the thirst of who I am.
Right.
And people did tell me, no, you can't do trance. They straight up said it in the studio. And I said, okay, that's a downer. Well, let me prove you wrong. 1 year later, we had top 20 in Germany. 1 year later, 3 top 100s. And I've had 20 top 100s in normal charts, not no dance charts. Since then, with all kinds of trance, techno, jacking out, trance, house and club. Tour with me, Crystal Waters, Barbara Tucker, all of us, Robin S., we're all friends. So when they've kind of remained true to house, and I kind of said, I got to go to soul, because I just didn't have that one record like they did.
Right.
Had a lot of records, but Barbara had, Beautiful People, and Crystal had da-da-dee-la-da-da, and Robin had Show Me Love. I didn't have that, so I knew I had to keep doing shit.
Well, you don't look at you, you're still here. So that it worked. You came out when it was time.
Yeah. And that's what it is. Life, I will retire when I get in my coffin. So this thing about retirement be just like Frankie Beverly. No, I let go. Bye-bye. And Kim Beverly was my roommate, his niece at FAMU in my freshman year. Kim used to run from one end of the hall. I hope she hears this, and jump on my back. And I used to be wanting to kill that girl, but I want to send it out to the Beverly family, because her dad was the brother of Frankie, that much love and respect to an icon who showed us what being a great musician is. That's what you aspire to. So Frankie Beverly did that. He was definitely someone I looked up to.
Right, authentic in his craft too. What now? Most people ask, what is the biggest lesson you learned when you came into the game? But mine's is, what is the most iconic lesson you've learned? I'm not talking about the biggest, but the most blissful one, the one that sticks with you till this day.
Girl, you're good. I was about to say something else, and then you put that tag question. Patience. Not thinking. One night, true story to fit with the moment, I came back from a gig. It was just me and David Guetta alone. We were playing in Innsbruck. We just played in Slovakia or Slovenia somewhere. And we were in a stadium with him. I was in arenas with him. And I got a couple €1,000 for that show. And he got 200K. And I sat on the sofa. My partner, he said, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Because I feel really like I'm not successful." I mean, he looks up to me like he's saying, "Terri, I love all your music. You had all these hits." And yet when the concert, I have like 1% of the fee. So I just felt like, okay. And then he said, "But look what you've done. You've survived in a world who sometimes they didn't want you in the beginning. So you just took it off like Taylor Swift say. I'm a blifty. I'm putting this out there. It's a Black lady over 50 that loved Taylor Swift and went to the show. Blifties." I said, "I'm going to shake it off." And I shook it off. And I kept, people who said they didn't want to work with me always call back. And as I rose, where even people close to me, people who love me, people who were in relationships with me, they didn't always want the best thing for you. Because they want to have you in this box. I won't let nobody put me in no box.
Okay.
No. You opened up a lot of thoughts in my head with that one. That was good because it really means a lot because it was some really tough times.
But you overcame.
Yeah, I was flying on a plane in Russia where I swear the door was open a little bit. What? And I said, please, Grandma, I always talk to my grandmother, just watch over me. I need to make this trip. I need to make this money. Right. I need to be there. I need to support my music because I'm famous here, #3 in the country. But nobody knows where I'm at, where I am. Wow. So support me. So I've had angels, all around me. I pray and I'm very blessed that I'm still knocking it, keeping it hot.
And looking hot too, girl.
Thank you.
And this is one of those questions, fighting through the hard days to create, tour, and perform music without cracking. How do you sustain?
Sleeping.
Sleeping?
Sleeping. When I want to sleep until 3 in the afternoon, as soon as I get the chance, I rest because your voice is a muscle. So it's your instrument, and I'm a writer, so I need to clear my head. I write more than even I've sung. I've written even for other people. So you have to have a clear head and a fresh energy. So I sleep. I think you have to get rest. And if resting also means just laying there going, or I watch crazy TV shows that like The Munsters and I Dream of Jeannie and just all kind of good times. I like to transport to another time. A lot of 16th century nonsense, Downton Abbey and all kind of, I like the Bridgerton. I like to go somewhere else and be out of that music business. So either sleeping, but also wherever I can put my mind where I'm not tied up.
R&R. Now, you write all of your own music. What is your process?
How am I feeling right now? And let's shut the studio down because I ain't feeling this and I don't like who I'm working with right now. So let's go. It's just like that. It's like when I wrote Unexpected Love, the guy had already finished the music. I didn't know he had worked with Mason and Stokely. That was his record out at the same, at that moment, Maurizio Metalli. But when I got the music, I was like, this is fire. Hold on, let me sit right here. I've been down this road before. I had that whole verse almost in 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes. I knew based on the tune. So I just sat right there, didn't go to dinner, whatever I was about to do, started to write. When I go into camps, writing camps for ultra music, or these big, I worked some of the big dance. I worked on all the dance labels. When I go into like spinning or these really EDM where I'm the only Black lady in the room, I sit back and listen to what the kids got going on. And then I go, okay, that's where we at right now. Okay, I got you. So that keeps you fresh as a writer. Right. Kelly Lee of London, who has tons of #1s, it's made so many DJs famous like me, even more. I watched her train me on the new cadence for the UK's, house. And so I like learning. So I always shut up in the process if I'm not as up on it as someone else, because it's always changing.
Right. It's very changing.
Smooth jazz, your kick drum can't be as soft as it did on Morning Mr. Radio, back in the 80s. So you really need to know and listen to what's going on. So writing is always very emotional and also very spontaneous for me.
I can tell. And that Unexpected Love by, featuring Maurizio Metalli, how'd that beautiful collaboration come about?
Norwegian dude, professor or instructor in Norway, had finished his piece of music for his album. He wanted an ad-lib singer. Metalli said, girl, you don't want him to show. That fool is crazy. He said, well, anyway, you need a singer. It's not good. You need to put something on it. Well, it's great, but it's not enough. He sent it to me. I wrote that piece of music in about a day or two, sung it, recorded it. And then they said, yo, you changed our record. I think it's really, and since then we've had #1 Solar Radio, Smooth Jazz Network. It's, still rising. In the Smooth Jazz Network, people are loving the record. I'm #1 in some stations. So it's just been like surprisingly successful. I think we were #3 yesterday in Germany in the jazz chart. It was like Frank Sinatra, somebody else, and Terri Green. I was like, work for a trans girl. I have arrived. So it was amazing. It was great.
Now, there is one interesting thing that I like about your story. You were singing 10 years before getting vocal coaching. Why
Right.
did it take so long? And do you think coaching at that time, do you think it would have changed the integrity of your sound? And that's the reason you didn't get it?
Because in dance, everybody just reduces the quality so much that I was amazing with people who didn't know much more than I did.
Right.
And so, but my ear was good, so I got better. And I was in the studio, really mean, tough producers who said flat, sharp, go, harmony, harmony. So by the time Mina Butterfly and me were in the studio together all the time. Back, her sisters are my friends. And when we were back, when they were teenagers, we'd be in studios singing for everybody in Germany, like in Hamburg. So we learned by ear, just like they did.
Right.
And later I just said, okay, you want to do R&B, you're going to need to be able to sing and not lose your voice.
Mm.
And one night in Moscow, I could not speak to order my burger at 4 a.m.
Oh,
and
wow.
I said, this ain't gonna work. And I said, I need lessons. And I called a vocal coach who also does Mary J. Blige. She's worked with Adele, and she was living in Germany, and she started coaching me. And that was the best thing I ever did.
Just getting the coaching. Okay.
Yeah, fell into it, but it was very necessary. And if I could have done it earlier and younger, I would have.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, booked and busy. You have upcoming tours where many deemed to go. I mean, like, again, over 30 years, just like the fella told you, like, look at where you are. Tell us about that and what you have going on.
It just never stops. I'm on an endless ride of airplanes and ships and boats and trains. Remember that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Yes.
That's my life. People can mention a little town in Germany called Cottbus, and I'll tell the little German lady, oh, I was there doing trance back in 90. I was at Love Parade in the last Love Parade, or I was playing Summer Days in Australia. I've just seen so much. I've played for 300,000 people, and I've played for 14 people. I built my own show, and I'm still getting new people, scary situations to change and make me grow. So I'm taking a friend of Bruno Mars is my friend, a guy named Marvin A. Smith. He actually was, him, Bruno, and Philip did great things together. People don't know Marvin as a part of the group, but he's been instrumental working with those in that team. He really now takes my project to another level. We've been friends 30 years, but I said, I'm good. He said, are you sure you want to do it? Because you know how I roll. I said, I know you're Hollywood. I know I'm going to have to not talk so much as an older person. But you have to always continuously grow. And my school, after I had a degree in economics, graduated from FAM. But once I started my first tours, I learned so much about culture and world and politics. Everything that's going on in America right now, I told people it was going to happen 5 years ago.
Right.
2015, I already knew all of this. So with social media, who was buying what, who was going to get influence, all of that, I said I saw it. I knew where the buildings are, where they did it. So I'm just saying to people that it educated me so I don't have to believe crazy stuff.
Right. Like
and,
they're taking dogs. Right.
And being from DC, born in Southeast, born at Andrews Airport, our first place I ever seen in my life was Southeast DC. There's no place that I go where anybody is going to tell me a person is lesser than because we got less money or more money. That ain't going to happen. Because I can assure you, some of the wealthiest people, both in my family and outside, that doesn't make them more socially knowledgeable or, whatever people I've worked with. So education comes in different forms.
Facts.
And one of them, get out in the school of real world and go talk in a restaurant to some Italian people. You'll find that you can be anywhere and people are going to, if they love you and energy's right, you're going to be fine.
Right.
I was in India and they had machine guns on every hallway when I was doing the gig. And I said, this time I don't feel safe. So I couldn't sleep really at night. And girl, 1 month later, they blew up the Marriott.
What?
And so, when you're traveling all the time, when I got to get up out of this. This ain't good.
Right.
I played in Beirut, Lebanon. I was dancing on the stage, me and another girl, Tara McDonald from the UK. And we were really famous over there. So to see Beirut going through all this stuff with Lebanon, that was the spot. It was like a paradise. And that wasn't long ago. So I need all wars to stop. That's the first thing, because young people don't want to have none of this going on. Not in
Okay.
Venezuela. I played in Argentina 10 times. I've been in Brazil, I don't know how many times. Colombia, Bolivia. Girl, that was the weirdest thing to get in and out of. But I understood the process. So I've seen so much. I'm going to write a book about my German life because there's just a lot to pull together that made me realize I did some unique things.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like Avicii, the famous DJ, his first real song and remix was my original song with Roger Sanchez. That's how he broke to the
Yeah.
world. And after that, he got really, really famous, but he still did stuff for me until he died. I had two remixes that are in his Netflix special that he still remembers how he started. So people don't know Black folks was behind all of that.
Right.
And I was at MTV and almost had the show greenlit. In fact, it was accepted, then it was canceled before I even got to be happy about it, about me being in the background of so many people.
Well, timing is everything, and that time will still come back around. So we do know that.
Amen.
I mean, you have movie scores. Like, what was it?
Yeah.
James Bond was one of them.
I
Like,
did, no, I did Liam Neeson's Memory. That was a pretty recent movie. And then I've done stuff like So You Think You Can Dance and a lot of German TV shows, HBO. There was some shows back in like Pitch and girl, there was so many I don't even remember. Somebody will show me something, be like, "Oh yeah, I did a song on that." But yeah, I had really good publishers, really good people, pitching stuff for me. So I've Uber themed, just all kind of stuff, just nonsense, just everywhere,
great,
just writing.
great things that just didn't start on TikTok because we don't think about the artistry and all that you do with your music. Just like you said, you're touring all over the world, and we don't get to see the insides of that anymore the way we did when they did make the HBO
Right.
specials about that.
Yeah.
So thank you for letting us know what all you have going on. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I think a lot of artists, I'm over 50, I'm 58, and I will say that what we have to do is pass while we're getting ours right now and doing. I even did the spring fling in Alabama 2 years ago. So that was like Southern Soul. That was another education. It was the most peaceful event I've ever seen, where it was pretty much 99.3% Black. And
Right, right,
we were
right.
just, nope, everybody always gives us such a bad rap when we know that was amazing. So
Fact.
Southern Soul, big thumbs up to them ignoring the major labels and doing what they want to do. So last thing I want to say, because I know you, is that as we age in the industry, pass the torch the entire time.
Right.
Give somebody else the knowledge. And I can say, when I get out of here, I've done that every step of the way.
You're educating me. I mean, 58, girl, what? Where? Where they do that at? I thought we were the same age.
No. But wake up in the morning, you be like, ooh, if I'm in a cold place, these knees, ooh, child. But I mean, I'm not the skinniest person, but I walk every day. I work out. I'm trying to lose always weight. And if I get too chunky, I go, ooh, you got to do something. Like, you got to take care of yourself.
Right.
I like facials. I'm on the road a lot, so it's kind of difficult sometimes. But there's no moment where you can't reverse what's going on. You just, someday I get some aches and pains and something's not good. You got to go walk or ride a bike.
Right,
I
right.
walked 3 miles today and rode a bike in the morning. I always make those free days physically something for my mind too.
We
Because
have a lot
Americans, we need to move.
artists that's and it's good that you said that you really care about your health, self-care, and you have a lot of artists that's just had unfortunate events, where they
Yeah.
passed away during performances. How
Yeah.
does that make
Ooh.
you feel as an artist you're taking care of yourself, but that definitely probably weighs on you?
So there's two things. One is that I was just on a WhatsApp chat with a guy who doesn't know who he wants to vote for and all of that nonsense. And I
Okay.
said, I vote, don't care about my candidate. I vote for people that are going to help people that I know are in need and also take care of when we are in trouble. So if you have a
Fact.
storm, a fire, a landslide, a hurricane, that's when everybody wants help. So you need a kind of strong government to help people. And I don't mind if people need to help with Medicaid, Medicare, whatever. So that's where I vote. Whatever that is, you do the math, who you think that is. Now, the other thing is that I have socialized care in Germany. So I'm
Mhm.
registered in Germany. We have a social system for artists. We get retirement as artists. And just paying a little bit more, we all make sure people who earned much less as artists, guitar, they still get the same health care I get. And I'm okay with that. So I want to make sure that a part of being healthy is that you need access.
Facts.
So if you don't give access to people to be healthy, then of course you're going to spend way more money trying to take care of them.
Right.
So I think it's a bonus that when we look at politics, you ain't never gonna have lunch with no Hillary Clinton. And now
No.
you're talking about abortion. Well, she was gonna give you the right people to keep it legal. So these are the things people and young people stop getting caught up on the aesthetics of who's in the. It's about who's gonna do what you need to get done over the
Right.
next generations.
Right.
And some of this stuff lasts generations.
Facts. It's going to
Um,
last.
Yeah, so just not to get too political, but I feel like exercise your right. Taylor Swift, I love you. I was always a fan even before I listened to the music. But after I saw you and I went to the show, because Mike Meadows, her musical director, is my friend. He played on my records. I love her. And she's authentic to the core. And her mother can't even control her. She's really about it. So yes, she loves Beyonce is her favorite artist. And the same way she can enjoy R&B, let's let Beyonce enjoy country.
Right. Facts.
She got whole R&B tracks. That's all I heard at the show. Sound like Chris Brown and Derulo. So let's also let Beyonce get her little nomination
Right.
for her record. But let's not forget War and Treaty from DC is nominated this year for a CMA, and they are Black, and they're probably over 50, and they got signed to Nashville, and nobody ain't giving them their flowers. Let's talk about who's successful, who's been there, because there are many Black artists in country music who are very successful.
Right. Talented. Very talented. So
not to get on my soapbox, but we get caught up on the shiny object. But we need, what would have been the case if Beyonce had taken Warren Treaty, who is AKA Tanya Blunt, who was an R&B superstar back in the day, and y'all had come together.
Right.
She sang like Aretha, and her husband like, I don't know, the best singer I've ever heard. So knowing them personally, that would have been fire.
Right. Well, just
and you would have,
on.
and it would have been politically a very good move because they're already accepted by the entire country music scene.
Right. But she was, well, that's another conversation. A lot of times we go with popularity of what we think is hot for a certain demographics or a certain generation.
Right.
That's my opinion.
True. I have a song that I did there's a new show on Netflix called Chaos. And in that show, there's a Black lady from Nigeria, my friend Tommy Ungunjobi, the mother of the really famous trombonist who was playing for Burna Boy. And we have an Afro-pop song that's been sitting for 3 years. We've been done with the record, and I never know when to release it. And now I'm going to sound like I'm following people, but Tommy is speaking on the record. Tommy plays the wizard or some kind of thing in that with, what's her name, Jeff Goldblum. She played in, what's the Black show from the UK? She played in The Riches. She's really famous. And I said, you need to get up on this record, Tommy. And she did it. And so that's going to be something I'm going to drop and people are going to love it because I love that record. But it's just, I'm in the smooth jazz moment and I really want to make sure I take care of it. But that's the diversity of life. I'm genetically Nigerian. That's what they tell me. And my cousins are also Nigerian. They know their tribe and everything. They get on my nerves. Ugh. They come in dashikis and stuff. But it's celebrating what, our culture and our knowledge. And I'm just happy that we are here to do it.
Right. The artistry too. I mean, look at your vocals. That is crazy.
Girl, they weren't so good in the beginning. So I'm going to just go take my flowers. Thank you. I do runs on stage and I'm like, yo, you couldn't even do no run back in the 90s. This is crazy.
You're touring coast to coast. I've only been to Myrtle Beach, and that, you know what, I envy you.
Myrtle Beach is nice.
It's beautiful, but you're touring the world. So that is like,
well, if you want to come to Germany, I have a house over there. You just come over. I'll be open up to all people come and do writing camps, and I love people to visit me because I feel kind of lonely out there in the woods. It's just like whatever. But my sister just came. She's from DC and she loves the quiet and just being in German culture. Germans are really nice people. And it's just a really nice thing to travel,
Well, for you
especially
to,
with your kids.
if you've been there that long, I'm pretty sure if it was bad, you would not have been there that long.
I still miss Black folks very often. I need to get off the plane in DC, like in 2 days in New York, and hear, girl, what you talking about? Ah, where you get that? Oh, girl, you look good. I need that. I need I need my girls. I need my girls to tell me I'm doing everything on point. It's just the energy that you know. I just posted today the picture of me and at 7 and Kamala Harris. Like we both pledged. She pledged AKA, I pledged Still in the same year, and she also had an afro like in the same year. And I put "We are Black."
Okay.
So
Period.
if your mama got you an afro, you good.
Right. Any nap and listen, I had the little nappy ponytails with the nappy bang now. I'm definitely
Well,
Black.
you look so cute now, don't you?
Thank you.
Nappy is good. I love my nappy hair. You can do so much with it.
Thank you. Well, it looks I've thinned out a bit since I've gotten up in age, but yeah, I'm proud of my little tresses.
Girl,
So
we treasure some edges now. That's one thing I think is discover how to keep that. I can wear a pony.
they ain't came out yet. So now what more? So you just released Unexpected Love. Do you have a follow-up track?
Yeah, Worth It that I did with Raheem's producer with Jamil Faith Johnson. He mixed that down for me. I produced that quite a long time ago. My son's rapping on it, but I also got a saxophone version with one of Amy Winehouse's saxophone players. His name is Aaron Litter. And I'm working on the remix right now because the UK was complaining they wanted a Steppers mix. Because R&B in the States is like, uh, but in the UK they're like too slow. So I got in the
Speed it
studio and
up.
I got JJ, from Shock. I got him because Jay plays with Dave Koz and Gerald Albright. So when he's free, I'd be like, can you just throw me this? What do you imagine for this song? And he'll be like, I got you, T. So we did a really cool kind of John B-esque, because I love John B. Esque,
Right.
groove. And I think that's going to be pretty hot.
I think the fact that you have so many connections going all the way back from the 80s speaks to when you say people want to work with you, some don't, but they still circle back. Like your
You
professionalism.
saw my face.
Your professionalism speaks for itself. You do great housekeeping. Let's say that. In
You know
entertainment.
what? And I really look back and go, I really worked. What people don't get, like I was writing an album in a week. Like if they told me you can go 600 miles, but you got to be back on Sunday to get your kid. So I would drive on Friday as soon as I got off work in Germany. And I went down to do the first #1 album that I had in Spain. In 3 days, we would cut 9 songs.
Right.
And I drove back Sunday night, got some McDonald's because I remember that I love McDonald's. And I went back home 600 kilometers. And that's how we did that first record. And It was like that all the time. That guy would be like, you done with those records? I need them by the end of the night. I'm mixing it tonight. So we didn't have no 45 days to work on lyrics. You needed to be like machine.
Right. Now with that, you said that you were working on new projects or you had a release?
Right. The next thing up is a single called Worth It, which is about just loving men.
Okay.
Loving and you just addicted, like you just like this thing about this man and just that's what it's about. And then my son changed it up. So the meaning could have been have a dual meaning. And then he wrote in his rap, you're the star of my life. And I love seeing you win. I've watched you my entire life. And I want to see you win, girl. Like it's so crazy what he did. And my Brandon is a designer in New York. He works with Jeff Henderson, who did the Yeezy 350s. He's a really up and coming, pretty known, has shoes in all the stores, Nordstrom, Macy's and stuff. And he raps and he doesn't want to be a rapper per se, but that he jumped on this record, like we'll always have our piece of history because I know he was good enough.
Okay, so if you can give our viewers your website information and how to follow you and stay connected. Do you communicate with your fans?
Directly and as soon as possible. And that's how you grow your fan base because as independent artists, you got to be hands-on. You got to do something. So www.terrigreenmusic.com is everything, all kind of links. Facebook, Instagram, Terri Green Music. On Spotify, I have 2 pages because I had a band. So the Terri Green Project. And remember, it's Terri with I, not a Y. And Terri Green, you'll find all the music. If you're house lovers, just Google Terri B and you find my whole list of nonsense that I've been a part of my whole life.
You say
So
nonsense.
that's cool.
It's talent,
YouTube,
y'all.
same thing.
Pure talent.
I don't know, it feels good when you do interviews, and Tangi, much shout out to Tangi and, Emerge. Everyone I've talked to and spoken with over the last couple of months has been so down to earth. It's been like totally cool. Like really you want to talk to them. It's not like pulling teeth interview. You're like, oh, let me see what I go. It's just like you want to talk. Like I thought I was gonna be here 15 minutes, girl. I ran the clock out.
I can't take it. But you're a good conversationalist, so that makes it even better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, old people like to talk, so you gotta let us. We can.
Okay. That's good. You never met a stranger. That applies to you too.
Oh, my mom always said that. She's like, you find good in everybody. I do, and if you come for me, that's a whole other thing. I still know how to fight and stuff, but I still know how to throw some paws if I had to. But I hope we don't have to do that at this age. But that's not me. No, we just want to be cool.
We're going to be very demure, very mindful.
Yeah. But Black ladies, we always give an answer. Like Kamala said to the man the other day, I got answers.
Okay.
I got receipts. You ain't gonna be just saying any old thing and I'm gonna let it go. No.
I'm trying to stay in that lane of holding it in, but I'm just like, I feel like I'm going to start acting my age any day now, because the older you get, the older.
When people tell me nonsense, I'm like, cut it out. Cut it out. And that's what it felt like watching the debate the other night between Vice President Harris and former President Trump. It felt like you saw a Black lady going, are you serious right now? Like she could, and there was one moment where I thought she wanted to say something else.
She did.
Said, that's when you was some kind of real estate something. She went to HBCU.
Right.
If you ever want to understand, if you go to Howard, that was the first. You gonna know what time it is.
No, when she wanted to call him a MF and just had to collect.
And they asked her, what's your favorite word? It starts with an M and it ends with an herb. So, girl, too much.
Bit her tongue off on that stage, but I loved every minute of it because I think we deserved that.
Exactly. We did. And I think for Black women, to be the place where we served other people and to see her standing there, I don't care what other people are thinking. I feel like if you've always had you all the time, I guess it's not that big of a deal. But for me, it's a really big deal seeing someone's capable. And you can say she's competent, more qualified than anybody.
Right.
So whether she wins or loses, who else did all that?
Right. And people fail to realize she is vice president. She is not the sitting president. She makes no decisions. She's just a nice fixture that can allow.
But he sends, and he sends her out to work. She worked on so much stuff with the border. Nobody knew about it till now that she had been in the trifecta trying to get the numbers down, and they came down 50%. Stop lying, folks. The numbers are way down. And Obama sent out more than she did. So people just they just want some negativity, Well,
they want to blame her for something that she didn't start. She might have opinions, but that doesn't, just like the president.
Well, this is what she should do. Everything that was done, great, take it. Everything that wasn't, say, I'll improve that. That's all you got.
Right. I'll be back. That's it. I'll be back.
And she wanted to do Boy Bye Felicia so many times.
I believe she gonna play that Kendrick Lamar when she get elected. Unlike us.
Well, she just got a new endorsement from someone that I like. What's her name? She sings she's a pop star, very great vocalist. What's her name? One of the most famous pop stars in the world. I can't think of it right now. She just endorsed her today.
You're not talking about Taylor Swift? No.
Second next to Taylor, has just as many Grammys, and she sings a little sleepy, that kind of stuff. But you'll know it. You'll see it somewhere on social media. But and then her friend came out, and then Kelsey came out. So it's like all the Reagan people came out. We see what we need to see.
Right. Well, that debate exposed what needed to be exposed. I mean, it was there before, but you have two old people.
Not gonna be hot. I'm like, come on, folks. Come on. We can't get no chance until it's absolutely everything's on fire. Obama, 2008 financial crisis, come right on in.
Right.
Joe Biden, COVID, everything's raging, people broke, come right on in.
Right.
Kamala, crazy man on the loose, come right on.
Right. He's nuts. That joker said they eating dogs, they eating cats. I'm like, are you?
We gonna get into this on this show. You should do a special political episode and have a round table. Please do that.
I probably should do that, and I steer clear
right before the election
until I get irritated, and that's when it comes out because my orneriness comes out.
But you don't have to say much. You can just let all the artists throw that stuff in the street, and you can be like, "Well, I just want to know how you feel."
I think that's a good idea. I think Candy should set it up. And
please call me back. I'll be so ready.
I'm going to talk to her tonight, so I'm going to wrap this up because I don't want it to get choppy and we get all
Oh, girl, we got lucky. They kind of slowed down now.
God. So thank you so much, Terri. I appreciate you. You have beautiful vocals. I would have named a couple of more people because you touch on so many different, extraordinary.
That's crazy. The last guy told me Leela James, and I just saw James too. We just played together in the Baltic Soul with the orchestra in Germany, and she was real tiny to me. Like I'm almost 5'10", 5'9.5". She must be 5'3" or something or 2. I said, "You remind me of me. Had I had known and been as smart as you at such a young age." She said, "Oh." We talked for a few minutes. She was so cute, and her vocal was powerful. Glenn Jones was there, and I was really fiending on Joe. I said, "Glenn, don't worry. I'm a stalker. I love you." Glenn is amazing.
Older, okay, but he's just.
Glenn looks good, and he could. That show is fabulous. That voice is fabulous.
His teeth
and he just smashed it. We hung out. We had some good times. Sister Sledge was there. We had a really good time. And
I know that was a time. Which one,
girl.
Kathy? Which one of this was it? The whole? It was not the whole group because one of them's missing.
It was not Kathy because I know Kathy when she's doing. It was Debbie and her crew.
Oh, okay. Because I got to speak with Kathy a while ago.
Kathy's in Jersey somewhere. Yeah, she's around. Yeah.
Yeah, this was years ago. I got to speak with her, but just look at your connections. This is what R&B for you to have been in a different genre. This is a whole different conversation. I'm gonna let you go.
Right? You talking about put your hands up in the air and then going, "Been so long." But you grow. You just learn. I'm just happy that nobody really called me a fraud. I'm good. I'm good. Okay. They loving it, so we're good.
No, you're not a fraud. I mean, they can go.
As long as I'm not a fraud, that was my worry. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to do the. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to do the jazz record. Huh? Yeah, I didn't want to do that jazz record at first. I said, "Oh, R&B is cool, but now you're trying to go there. They're gonna call." Because all my friends played with Layla. They all went to Berkeley. All those musicians on these records are like Berkeley graduates or School of Music somebody, Juilliard, and I'm like, "Well, I went to FAMU, but I ain't do no music."
Facts. Okay. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you, Miss Ma'am. And I'm following you on IG, and
I follow you too.
Publish the interview. I'll send the copy to Tangi to make sure it gets greenlit before I post it, and we're good to go.
Thank you, and I'll be following you and passing on all the stuff you're doing, and also send you some juicy little suggestions for artists that I've come in contact with, who I have the contact with, like the Weather Girls, Donnell Rhodes, and maybe Glenn, because I'm connected to him. Quite a few artists that I'm just talking to. You would love to have them.
I would love that. Thank you so much, Miss Terri.
Thank you. And let me wave like I'm from Canada. I'm in Canada now. I want to say goodbye to my girl. Thank you for this really cool podcast that you do. I wish you all the success and can't wait to see you again.
Thank you.
Bye, cuz.
Bye. Okay.
Yes, I've been down this road before. So unexpected what life had in store for me. change.